Hey there. With this video, I'm going to be looking at some of history's most intentional men. Let's begin. Our tale begins in the ancient kingdom of Macedonia, now in what we'd call modern day Greece. And our man in question is none other than Alexander III of Macedon. But he's more popularly known as Alexander the Great. And great he was. Alex came from a long line of exalted rulers, and when he came to the throne of Macedon, he would inherit total control, not over just his homeland of Macedon, but most other Greek city-states and a huge chunk of Thrace, which is modern-day Bulgaria. He had just become king of a large kingdom in Europe at the age of 21. With such a hefty inheritance, one would think he would be satisfied. But Alexander had expressed a desire for more from an early age. Less than 2 years after becoming king and quelling a few rebellions in his kingdom, he would begin his invasion of the Persian Empire. And a few years after that, he would defeat Darius III of the Achaemenid Empire of Persia. Would you look at that? Alexander III defeated Darius III. Where was I? By defeating Darius, Alexander technically added more kingdoms to his territory, as the Persian Empire controlled many weaker kingdoms. But no one who wins a prize by force keeps it on the grounds of technicality. In most cases, he had to fight just as hard, if not harder, to keep these new parts of his kingdom in line. But eventually, he would succeed in his ambition, and at his death, at the young age of 32, his kingdom now included parts of Africa and Asia, so he basically free-X'd his inheritance. Our next man needs no introduction. His name is synonymous with leadership, power, charisma, and an unrelenting belief in oneself. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a man who named a month after himself. I give you the man who was king of Rome in all but name. I give you Rome's only dictator for life. He needs no introduction. I give you Gaius Julius Caesar. I'm sure you're thinking, after all that fanfare, he better be impressive. And he was. Unlike Alexander, Caesar wasn't born as the first son of a great king. Rather, he was born into a noble but not wealthy family. But like me, Caesar was an Alexander fanboy, as he literally cried when he saw the statue of Alex. He was 33 and felt that his achievements, though impressive to the average man, were not good enough. Alexander at 32 had absolute control over parts of Africa, Europe, and Asia. Though centuries separated them, the fact remained that at 33, Caesar was a rising star, while at 32, Alexander was a whole constellation. But that would all change soon enough, as he was determined to leave his mark on the world and in history. He would then go on to lead an army in the Gallic Wars, the military campaign that would make him famous. Caesar was no novice to battle, but ask anyone and they tell you there's a difference between being a soldier and a celebrity. He would gain immense wealth, military prestige, a fierce and loyal army, and political power, all things he would use to ensure his name would be a whole section in the Museum of Greatness. Last but not least, we have a boy from the island of Corsica. Napoleon Bonaparte was born to a minor noble family in Corsica just a year after the island was sold to the French. He was said to be a melancholy child, and he was bullied for his Corsican accent and overall reserved demeanor. One can only imagine the names he was called. Like any introverted child, He found joy in reading and daydreaming of accomplishing great things in battle, and he would get his chance. During the French Revolutionary Wars, the Republican forces, i.e., those who want political power to be with the people, were aided by Napoleon in the siege of Toulon against the royalist rebels, i.e., those who wanted to restore power to the old monarchy. It's important to note that the royalists had help from Britain, Spain, Naples, and Sardinia at the battle, while all the Republican forces had was their own men, and yet they still won, largely due to Napoleon. Just imagine that. The bookworm saved the day, and he was just getting started. He would go on to wrap himself in more military glory, and as his fame grew, so did his power. Eventually, he would crush the very revolution that made him famous, and declare himself Emperor of France. What could be more glorious than becoming king of the very people who mocked you for not being a true Frenchman? Like a true man with taste, he would emulate Caesar at his coronation by choosing to wear a golden laurel wreath instead of a crown. And just like how Caesar declared himself dictator of Rome for life, Napoleon opted to place his crown on his head, symbolizing how he took power. As a child, Napoleon used daydreams of emerging victorious from battle to entertain himself. They made him feel strong, smart, and special. I'm sure we've all had our own fair share of daydreams, of doing great things. But to most of us, that's just what they are, dreams. But it wasn't just a dream to Napoleon. It wasn't to Caesar. Neither was it to Alexander. They knew what they wanted and found their way to work to it. So whether you're the son of exalted kings and queens, an up-and-coming 30-something-year-old, or an introverted kid who people make fun of because of the way you talk, we could all stand to be a lot more intentional.